Hey, I just got back from lunch. Did you finish that report yet?
Well, not exactly. Still working on it. I'm not finished just yet. I got a little sidetracked, but I will get them to you first thing this afternoon.
It is first thing this afternoon.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I am working on
But
it. I'll have,
what do you mean that the report isn't finished yet?
I'm still in the process of working on it. I've just been a little distracted.
Distracted. Our meeting starts in an hour.
I can have it.
No. What were you doing? Were you listening to another hunting podcast again? I swear, I give the staff in this office the freedom to do whatever they want to do as long as they meet a deadline. That is the first bullet underneath your job description. Pays attention to detail and deadlines. And deadlines. Dude, are you even listening to me right now?
Welcome to episode 99 of the Whitetail Distraction Podcast. My name's Austin, and joining me in the Rack Shack, Charles Hedlund. How you doing, buddy?
What's up?
And we got somebody else in here, too. I just want to jump right into that.
Yeah. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
Hi, guys.
Returning guest, honorary member of the Whitetail Distraction Podcast.
Yeah, I think you just made me that tonight.
I did. I like
we
it.
knighted him tonight.
We did knight him.
We should knight him with my little spike up there.
I like it.
Oh, that's
I
the
like
one
it.
I ripped his head off.
Yeah, that's the one we
Ripped his head off.
we did too. We found him. Yeah, we found him like a week later and ended up cutting his head off. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
It happens.
First archery buck though. I'm still claiming that. It's my first archery buck ever.
I like it. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, coyotes ate him up.
Yeah,
Quite a
damn
bit.
Coyotes
Mine's over there in that pile. Somewhere.
underneath the saw.
Actually, that's the year that buck actually came past me.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're both at the age that we could kill spikes.
Joe passed him. He was
But
a big
no,
buck killer.
I had, that's the
big
year
enough.
I shot, I think my first archery buck. I shot that
Opening day. That
9 point, yeah.
Yeah.
See, he passed him.
The
Yep.
first archery deer, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
First
the rest of
morning.
that year, I had bucks all around me. Nothing bigger or anything, but he's
That's
one of
okay.
them.
Whose first archery year they go out and first morning, first opening day of season shoots?
That's my second archery year.
Oh, sorry, second archery year, first day, opening morning shoots
First-
a freaking 9 point.
First actual bow, like the first year was that leftover PSE.
Yeah,
I was shooting like 15 yards, had no knowledge about anything, didn't have a rangefinder, didn't have anything. I was shoot, like I said, I was sight in for 15 yards,
our
and I
dad
ended up
used
missing that buck out that same property. Charles came up to me and he range found like a bale of hay and said, "This is 25 yards." And I'm thinking in my head, what the hell does that even mean? I didn't know aim high or anything. I was just on my own, 13 years old. Nowadays, kids are like sitting with their parents for however many years and have cross guns.
Shit,
I have
yeah.
this bow I could barely even pull back. I'm sitting all by myself and I'm blind.
You got kids at 6 and 8 dropping freaking 150s, 180s.
Yeah, right.
I
Like,
know,
come
isn't
on,
that
man.
crazy.
It's nuts.
Well, I mean, bow technology is so crazy now that, if it was different back then, I'm sure I would have been able to actually have a bow that was able to shoot a little better, but I had a bow that's probably 10 years older than that.
Yeah.
with like a 6-inch overdraw.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Overdraw. That's so
Or no, that
scary.
was the little baby bow, huh? Yeah, we went through some hand-me-down bows, but
That's all right.
dude, you have to, right? I mean, it's not like parents just had money laying around to go buy brand new bows back then.
I had a junky
Next
little
year
bow
they
that I
did.
don't even know how to name.
The next
dude.
year we both got a
Next year must have been
brand
good.
new Fredbear. Yeah,
Yeah, a couple brand new bows that actually fit us, man.
I don't
We
think Dad
started
actually
slaying.
expected me to even see anything at that point. He just threw me places and was like, "All right, just hunt this repetitively."
It was funny back then. He's right. I mean, he would typically just like mark like that tree there is X amount of yardage. Shoot anything inside of that. Just put the pin on the chest. Sometimes he'd even put like a stick or something out there with a little ribbon on it. That was max distance. Because, dude, back then I'm pretty sure he paced it off. Like I don't even know if he had a rangefinder
Probably
back then.
not. I
I mean,
remember
we
doing
had
that.
zero to no knowledge too.
Yeah, just
It's
hunted
just crazy
deer.
to think that we just went out with like no knowledge at all at 13 years old with a bow in your hand, just hoping for the best, you know?
Yeah.
I think that deer came in 25, 30 yards and I just aimed normally, Obviously whiffed.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Man, the good old days. Well, we got a little ahead of ourselves here. Let's quickly touch on our partners for the show who make this the best podcast on the planet Earth from Western PA.
That is from Western. Okay, that little caveat there, that's what made it. So it's good. Scree gear.
Scree gear, man. Love my scree gear.
I do too, man. I'm a big fan of it.
There's a picture of me behind a white-tailed animal with a lot of scree gear on. Just saying.
There is. It's bouncing around the interwebs.
Yeah. I now have a Christmas ornament with that picture on it.
I saw that tonight. That's freaking
that
cool,
not cool?
man. That was cool.
Man, my wife loves me.
I'm glad.
Yeah. I was worried about that for a little while. Apparently. I didn't hunt a lot first couple weeks. I've been pounding it the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Going out every opportunity I can.
Me too.
Switching my work schedule around. Shut up. I mean, you're not wrong. Every opportunity you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been good, man. It's been really good. But Scree Gear has been keeping me through it. The layering system. I got my 150 base layers back. Sizing's perfect on them. I mean, just beautiful. Gosh, I love those things. So comfortable and just the greatest layering system that I've ever owned.
Guys, go check them out. Use code WDP20.
Black Friday sales too right now.
Yeah. Up to 30% off, I think.
And free shipping on
And free
bundles.
shipping. Guys, go use that code.
Yep.
Or,
If you can't use the code, if it's on sale,
Yeah.
just let us know. Give us a shout out or hit us up, whatever, and let us know that you're purchasing something.
Yeah, we want to know what you guys are using.
Yeah, and we'll talk to people we know on our side too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then we have Veteran Innovative Products.
VIP.
Best broadheads in the game, man. They are just, they're so mean. They're so nasty.
Yeah, they really are. And I've been hearing, a lot of horror stories from some of these other either fixed blades where they're just not getting like the entrance hole and the exit holes are real tiny, small, not getting a lot of blood. Guys are hitting deer all over the place with them, unfortunately. But I mean, I guess that can happen with any broadhead. But what I'm trying to get at is, like, I'm hearing all these horror stories. I'm like, dude, try the combat.
Shoot a combat vet, man.
Blow through some shoulders with the damn thing. I know I've been seeing it happen. Our buddy Adam Rehar.
Yep.
That's nice. Rehar?
Rehar.
Adam Rehar just shot a freaking nice buck.
Yep.
Blew right through its shoulder.
Yep.
Just poking out the other side. Freaking devastated that deer.
I shot a doe 2 years ago with a regular veteran.
Yeah.
Through both shoulders. Passed through. Never found the arrow. Just kept flying. Well, I'm pretty sure it went to Mexico.
That thing just hit the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Just kept rotating around the earth.
Just took
it's
off.
It's still going.
It went through both shoulders, man. Like,
Yeah.
both shoulder blades. Actually should have kept them and hung them on the wall because it was that cool.
We've been splitting bones. Our buddy Sam shot that nice buck, just split the bone right on
Yep.
it. Backside.
Yeah.
Not even the front side shoulder.
And that broadhead was probably still usable.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep. Couple, what I'm saying is the parts were usable.
Yeah.
The actual broadhead itself, what happened was it lodged in the back shoulder, like in the bone.
Yeah.
So deep that when the animal was running away, I'm guessing, he said the arrow was sticking out and it hit a tree. And when the arrow hit a tree, it snapped. Mm-hmm. And what happened was, right where the broadhead, there's that little screw in for the blades. That's point right there just happened to be the point that was where it was buried up to. And when it hit, it actually bent and broke the broadhead. But, dude, you could pull the parts out of that thing, brand new. The blades looked brand new.
Yeah.
And it's still splintered. Broke his leg in half on that exit. If it had not, if it not been a freak accident where it just hit that tree just right and just jarred his arrow, because he said he heard a snap basically when it hit the tree and the arrow was laying there on the ground. Yeah. Had it not done that, he would have just had to basically do what he did last year with the damn thing. He took a sledgehammer to the bone.
Broke it out.
Oh my God. And he still uses that broadhead. All he lost out of that deal was he broke the blade with the sledgehammer.
New blades.
So, but, funny part about that is I text Matt, showed him pictures, told him the story. He sent him a brand new 3-pack.
That's awesome.
On him, he said, look, this is a one-off anomaly.
Anomaly?
Anomaly?
There you go.
This is a one-off anomaly? That's a weird word I just came up with. And he said, I've never seen that before. I warranty all my products 1,000%. Here's a whole new 3-pack.
Yeah.
Tell me any time you've ever heard Rage do something like that. NAP.
We don't talk about that.
Big name companies. Let's just say big name companies.
Yeah.
You can message them, you can email them, you can go through their customer support. I've never heard of anybody getting a new pack of broadheads because theirs failed.
No, that's crazy sauce.
And it didn't fail. That's a bad word to use.
Yeah.
The broadhead did its job. The deer ran 40 yards and piled up. It went through, blew up the back leg.
Boom.
Dead deer. Dead deer.
Better and Innovative Products, guys. Go check them out. They're freaking unreal.
What do I gotta say?
Well, I gotta say.
All right. Out on a Limb Manufacturing. Matt Garris, man. My boy from Oklahoma.
Big pimpin'.
Yeah, he's after some deer right now. I've been talking to him a little bit, and he's been after it harder than normal.
Harder than normal.
He lost his property out there. He's pretty bummed.
Oh no, the big one.
Yeah, I'm not going to get in any details or anything. Not that I even know him, but unfortunately, yes, he's been kind of reverting back to his other leases and stuff around, which are still good properties.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched a video of a guy that went out there and shot a real nice buck off of one of his properties.
Oh damn!
It was kind of cool to watch actually and see where he was and recognize some of the spots from when we were down there in turkey season.
That's awesome.
But anyways, out on a limb, man, they make some really great tree stands. They have all kinds of any range of tree stand you want to go, fully mobile, stationary. You want to be mobile on sticks. They got the shakars. They got the hush stand. They got freaking camera arms. They got platforms for us saddle guys.
If you want to be a mobile hunter, go check him out because he's gonna freaking hook you up.
If you just basically want to hunt anywhere, you want to hunt anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It can be stationary. It doesn't have to be mobile.
Yeah.
If you want to hunt anywhere, check him out.
Right.
Because he has no limits.
I agree.
Speaking of no limits, newcanoe.com.
Newcanoe.com.
Yeah, boy.
Solid transition.
Yes, the Unlimited. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. The Unlimited
I
kayak.
have yet to purchase one from them. I want to. I love their kayaks. I got in a weird place. Now I'm just like, eventually I'm going to.
Oh, you'll have one
I
next
know.
year.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll absolutely have one next
By
year.
yakking for bass, I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once you see mine, you'll be so jealous. You'll be like, man, why is this guy catching all the fish? Must be the new canoe.
Yeah. Yeah. You caught all the fish this year?
Listen, I didn't even have a kayak this year.
I'm kidding. Yeah, but you could have used a pole floaty.
I could have. You're right.
Disappointed you didn't.
Damn it. Russ used to have this thing. And by the way, guys, go check out New Canoe. We'll get on with the podcast here. But Russ used to have this thing. Joe, do you remember that? It was like a sit-in
For trout
inflatable.
fishing, it was
for like
inflatable, yeah.
floating for trout fishing.
It's a Colorado boat.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Two inner tubes on both, or two like pontoons on both sides with a seat in the middle, and you
Basically,
paddle with your feet.
No,
Or you
it was just like
Well, no,
It
it
was
was like a round inner tube.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
I'm pretty sure, right? And
It's like U-shaped inner tube,
Interesting.
pretty
Maybe
much,
U-shaped,
where
yeah.
the netting, your legs go through it. And
It
I
was
think
like,
that's a Colorado boat.
Kick
I think
around.
that's
yeah,
called.
it was kind of like what you put little babies in when you put them in the pool. And float them around in the pool with,
Little babies.
except for adults for fishing. It had like all the fishing bags and stuff on the side. Pretty cool.
I like it.
So, what are we doing here tonight in the Rack Shack again?
Buddy, we're going to hear a story tonight about
Ooh.
something that y'all have seen on the interwebs, on the Instagrams, on the Facebooks.
Yeah,
all
you
over-
like
all over the
stories,
place.
huh?
I do. I'm a big fan of the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's your story, man. You done killed a big old buck.
Yeah, I got me a good one.
Got a good one. I like it.
Got me a good one, man. I'm pretty pumped. It's been 2 years, buckless for 2 years, been holding out. Missed one last year at the end of the season, like rifle season 2, so it just was devastating leading into this year. But I don't know, man. I went into this year basically saying I'm not gonna settle, but the first 110, 100-inch, 110 buck that goes by me and looks good and gets my heart pumping,
You're going to light them up.
he better watch the F out. Pretty
We
much.
actually talked about that in goals and stuff like that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, before.
I was feeling dangerous.
Yeah.
He better watch out because I got an itchy finger. And, this year started off pretty awesome. Shot my first ever September deer. I believe my first ever. Yeah, shot a doe in early season and then had some rough patches where wasn't hunting much. Shot that doe, didn't recover it. And I've been after a really good buck.
Yeah.
Like a really good buck on one of our properties. And I have him at 5 yards. And I don't know, did I ever tell that story on here? I don't
I
think
don't
I
know
did.
if you told it on that last episode that we did.
No, I don't think I did. So I hope I didn't. If I did, we'll cut it all out.
Yeah.
Anyways, season goes on. I've been chasing a really big buck, and I was kind of holding out for him. Didn't want to settle, Clint Casper, inspiration. Don't fucking settle. That's Clint Casper, right? That's like so him. And in those words, there's a couple things from that kind of group with the working class guys. One, every action has consequences. I've been telling myself that since that day. Everything you do has a consequence. So when you do something slow or you do something lazy, it's going to have a consequence somewhere down the line. And that's purely what I did when I blamed myself for not getting an opportunity on that giant. Like a giant maybe of my lifetime, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
He's still out there.
He is.
Joe still has a tag. You still have a tag. I'm just saying. There's a few people that still have tags. I don't know where he went. He's ghosted. He's been gone. I checked cameras the other day. There is Buck B, we'll call, which is a really nice 10-point on that property. And he was on camera October 26th, 7th, and 9th, all pretty much at night.
Yeah.
Which is weird. That time frame, that property's really good usually. Daylight, chasing. And he was moving. I mean, he was on 2 cameras in that area, but not too close to each other.
Yeah.
So I was kind of getting frustrated because I wasn't seeing any bucks. And I haven't been seeing any mature does. And I don't know if this is like this for everybody else out there. I know some of the other guys I've been talking to have been seeing kind of the same thing where either you're seeing them chasing and, big bucks dogging does, or you're just seeing nothing. And we've been seeing I know I've been seeing a lot of just little yearling deer. That's it. Like big groups of yearling deer. The one night I went out, I think I saw 11. I don't think one of them was mature doe.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm like, well, these are all the deer that got kicked. There should be, doing the math, at least 5 mature doe somewhere around here. Let's say one died. There's 4 mature doe somewhere around here. And I know there's 2 mature bucks missing. And at least 2 more on camera that would be, maybe.
You thought about it.
The one I showed you, you're like, that's a pretty good buck, man. I'm like, yeah, but there's these 2.
I'd have probably really
Right.
thought about it.
Yeah, exactly. And if he put on the show, I would have too. So I've been getting frustrated. I've been really pounding that property, just jumping around here and there, staying mobile, never hunting the same spot twice, other than the one really good pinch point I hunted twice. And I said, screw it. Joe's been hunting another property on and off in a spot where he's had obviously some pretty damn good success over the years. And he's, you had an opportunity at a nice deer.
Which one are you referring to?
The one I shot.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say that's the only one. Yeah, well, we were both kind of chasing them, there for a little bit. You had more pictures than I did.
Right.
You didn't pay the money for your cell cam, so he daylighted 3 times the first week of archery, and we had no clue.
A lot.
I don't know. You want me to get on a little side note?
Go ahead, do it, man.
The first week of archery, I want to tell one story real quick, if you don't mind.
Do it, bud.
First day, we didn't really see much in the morning. And in the evening, I just thought this was cool because, I've done this, but, it's not too often you do it and succeed, where you just go rogue, You're just like, I'm going to go out there. I'm just going to go to a new area and just get as far back as possible and just get crazy,
I like it.
And I did that the evening of first day. I went to drive past out this down this road we never really drove down much or ever really hunted. And I get about, I don't know, not even 100 yards down this road, maybe 50. And there's a tree down. And there was this just crazy flash in my head where I was like, I'm going to get crazy, dude. I'm just going to walk this road down as far as I could really even stand. And then I'm going to cut into the woods somewhere, nice. Or if I see a nice trail going through, whatever, I'll go and snoop around. So my goal was to get to the end of this road. And I'm going, and I'm walking for 45 minutes at this point.
Oh,
it was to the point of I have to walk back out of here at some point. So I'm like, I cut across the road. Cut across the woods and get to the end of this dirt road. And I tried doing that. I hit this big thicket, and then I start backtracking. I'm like, I'll backtrack down this thicket until I see a nice trail coming out of it or some good sign, and then I'll hunt that. And I start doing that, and all the sign was like super old, super old, super old. Like, so and then I keep going, and I see like this old blind that's all beaten up and like tore up laying there. Because the road at one point was open, it was probably used back then, but it hasn't in a while. It was all overgrown. So I get to there, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking at my map, and my map's showing like I'm pretty much in like this funnel area in between two slashes. So it's like a good travel corridor. If they want to travel in between, or they want to escape or something, they can't really run through the thicket very well, So they'll probably go in between these two thickets. So I sit up there, and I was like real close to that blind. And of course, later on that night, I ended up having 3 doe just burst through the woods at me. Like something scared them. I don't know what it was. So they come flying through them. I'm whistling. I'm meeping. I got to the point of like, hey, I'm yelling at this one. It's running up behind me. And I turned because there's another one. There's 2 of them coming through. The other one was just, I don't know where the heck it went. And the one's just not stopping. I'm yelling at it, whistling at it, just trying to get it to stop for 2 seconds. I'm at full draw.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much underneath me. So by the time it stops, it's completely away from me behind some trees. And I turn, I'm like, that bigger one's over there. So I whip around, and it's coming through the thicker area. I have like no lanes. So right when it starts getting into a lane, I go, meh, real loud. And it comes to a complete stop, and all that's really hanging out is like 8 inches of vitals. I'm like, all right, I can make that happen. I snuck one in there, smashed it with the veteran I just started using this year.
That's what I'm talking about,
But I mean,
combat veteran.
Yeah, combat veteran, yeah.
Yep.
So Russ came back with the quad, thank God. And where I killed it was still, decently far back off that quad trail. And we ended up for the first time ever doing a deer pull.
Awesome.
Yeah, I cut a slit through its legs, and then I cut a slit through its front legs, and then I cut a slit through the tarsal gland, and I stuck a sapling through there, and we carried it out because there was no dragging it. It was all glacier rock. It was just disgusting. We're on the edge of a thicket, and I'm telling you, with a doe, it's probably the most legit thing I've ever done, dragging-wise. We get that the whole way out, and like I said, it was almost like killing a big buck, just because you went out there, and you go all out, you go all in an area you've never been before, and you come out with a win. Like, that's...
I'm a big fan of that, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is.
Especially in big woods when you got the room to just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see now how you circled back on that story. I'm like, where's he going with all
I
this?
walked for probably an hour and 15 minutes before I found that tree.
Yeah, you're just bebopping around through there, checking everything out.
I don't know. It was cool.
I like it, man. I like it. I've never done I've always wanted to do like the deer pole and like carry them out like that, but I never really had an opportunity. We probably should have the one time, but we didn't.
Where would we have come up with a piece of wood to do so?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Those trees and stuff, and they were all tangled and twisted.
We still should have floated it. I should have just got in and done it.
Yeah, right. It was freezing.
I know. Should have.
It got cold anyhow. It was late October. We should have done something other than we did though.
So then
so bad.
The second story was the first Friday of the season. I went to my spot. I got my buck in last year, first Friday this season. And I was thinking, just nice being in that your good spot the first time in the year, And I'm sweating, and I don't have my hat on or anything. I have like nothing really ready. My bow's ready, that's about it. And I'm just like trying to get my life together, all right, I gotta put my face paint on. I gotta get my hat on. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I hear this crunching. I'm like, what the heck is that already? I look up and there's a coyote creeping through.
Yeah, I know what you're going with.
So he comes through. I'm like, all right. you're dying today, you know?
Yeah.
My first time I ever hunted that stand, I killed a buck, my nice 2017 buck, and it got eaten by coyotes within like 3 hours. So I had a little payback coming at him, you know?
Yeah.
So it starts creeping through, and it's standing there, and it's in like inside like this apple tree, and I might have been able to sneak an arrow in there, but it was just too sketchy, you know? So I'll wait for him to come out, and I was kind of like nervous to stop him because I've like tried stopping coyotes before and they just take off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just shoot him while he's walking, you know? So he hits the opening and it's like this big wheat field and he just starts cruising like kind of fast through it, and he's a coyote, you know? I could see like most of his body, but where I was aiming, I couldn't even see his body. And I'd fling one off, and he goes bananas, dude. He starts doing circles.
Yep.
Like running like a hyper dog, like crazy circles. Did like 3 circles. And then he like runs off like a maniac. And he starts jogging away. I'm like, what the heck just happened? So it was early. I got down. I checked my arrow. Arrow's completely clean. And there's some blood on the ground. So I must have hit one of those weeds and deflected a little bit or something,
probably.
but must have nicked his belly. And so I get back up at my stand, and at this point I'm changing my shirt, put my deodorant on and everything, and I got my shirt like around my head, and I hear some crunching. I'm like, what is going on here? And I look up, there's another coyote coming at me. I'm like, what? So I throw my one arm in the sleeve. I got my shirt halfway on. And he comes walking in like 15 yards. He's doing the same thing. He's cruising through. I'm like, I'm not missing this one. I ended up smoking him, dude, right to the ribs.
That's what I'm
15
talking about.
yards. He went running off like a maniac. If it wasn't so that hot that night, I would have continued the track. But I was tracking him by myself, sweating my ass off.
Started raining too.
And it started raining. I ended up having Charles pick me up on the back door there, shorten up my walk a little bit.
There you go.
But that was just crazy, man. 2 coyotes in one hunt. I never heard of that.
Yeah, that's pretty good, especially with the bow.
Yeah, that was after Ryan's wedding rehearsal dinner.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm picking him up and got like freaking dress pants on, dress shoes. Like, you're not coming to help me track, right? I'm like, no, I don't think so, bud. Not in my slacks. And
I wanted to find him
dress
so
shoes.
bad, but it was getting late.
Yeah.
I'm sweating. It's raining. I'm hit him a touch back. You know,
Yeah.
coyotes. They don't.
That's all right.
It
Get
just
rid of them,
depends.
man.
Yeah. What
Get
are
rid of
you
those
gonna?
guys.
If you had something to do with them, I mean,
Yeah.
make a rug or something. I don't know. Just get them.
Yeah, it was either
tanned,
mount them or
skinned.
Get some crazy-eyed
get rid of
mount.
them.
Yeah, you can get a full mount.
One less Bambi killer is good for me. That's
Yeah.
all I needed.
No, that's good, man. That property needs some coyotes taken off of big time.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, I just got a picture of one the other night.
Yeah.
He was clearing the way for what ended up happening later on in the year. He's just getting all the coyotes out the way.
Exactly.
I thought the place was infested. You see 2 in one hunt. I was like, geez.
All over the place.
I was seeing a lot last year too, but
Yeah.
yeah, on trail camera. So the trail cameras, as I was telling you in the update on a couple episodes ago, man, you know, I had these deer like this big 9-point and these other deer all over camera like every day from the 1st through the 7th, and man, I mean, daylight, and you know, me being too cheap is just like, you know, not gonna re-up, and so I was kicking myself pretty hard, and then that, you know, missed opportunity at the other property on that really big buck, it was like, okay, something's got to give, got to turn this season around, like got to change something, just keep getting out there, changing it up, really paying attention. And I started to think to myself, like, man, you really got to start using your brain. Like, think of past experiences where you've witnessed, you know, where deer go when pressure's up and, you know, bedding areas. Start thinking. And instead of just going through the motions and going to areas where you've seen deer in the past, or not really seen deer in the past, but I mean like that season, I need to start using, you know, MRI, most recent information available to me.
Right.
But also going in and start thinking more. Like, use my brain. Start breaking things down. So the decided to hunt this other property that the night, I think it was Wednesday night, I'd snuck out after work. Joe was down there, John was down there, and Russ was down there.
I called off because I ended up having him daylight. That same buck daylighted at my stand. Probably walked right underneath my stand. He was 20 yards away on my camera at 253.
Yeah, the big 9-point that we had all over camera showed up on his cell cam
again,
on Tuesday.
So I put in a day off for that next day, like right then and there when I saw it on my phone. I was like, so we all went in, all four of us, all of
it's covered pretty much a lot of the property.
Yeah.
And Joe sat all day long.
Yeah,
literally
12
all
hours,
day long.
yeah.
That all day sits are tough, man.
Yeah, that's real tough. Especially in a lock-on, man. It's not super uber comfortable.
Yeah.
Anything really sit all day is tough. So I didn't see shit that night. Joe, you saw a deer late, is that right?
I ended up having a spike and a little 3-point hung out with me for like 6 hours that day. And
but that was that the night that he came by and
the last
you?
15 minutes, I think I grunted at some point, and the last 15 minutes of the hunt, I ended up hearing some grunting, and I had that 3-point in her earlier hanging out with me all day, and he was grunting. And it didn't sound like real mature, it kind of just sounded a little softer toned, and just, I'm thinking, is it him again? And I'm looking everywhere, And it's at that point where it's like, you got to start focusing your eyes on some things. There's 15 minutes left of the hunt.
Yep.
And I'm looking all around, and I don't see anything. And then finally I look up, and he starts brushing out behind the trees in front of me. Because, like, my entire, right half I can't see out in the field because there's just trees. I mean, I can see, during, complete full daylight. But once it starts breaking down like that, you can't really see through it. Everything starts blending in. And I see him start poking out there. And I'm like, oh, shit. It's a good buck. And I put my binocs on. I'm like, that's him. That's the one we've been after.
Yeah, man.
And I hit him with the rangefinder. He was somewhere around 50 yards. And he was through these branches. So I ended up, I'm looking. I'm just thinking, what's going to happen here? I'm trying to play it all out in my head. What are my best chances here? Do I try rushing off a shot? Is this the best shot I'm going to have, coming up here? Or is he going to cut down this hill like some other have done and then brush back towards me at 13 yards? Or he could start, narrowing down towards the wood line and get inside 20, 30 yards. So I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do. And I have no shot, he's through these limbs. So I'm watching him. Keep hitting with the rangefinder. He just keeps getting further and further away. And then he poked out probably around 60 yards.
That's a poke, man.
And
It's a bomb.
he's hanging out. I'm like, I'm not doing anything crazy like that, man. I don't want to wound a buck that we've been after and then nobody gets him, I'm not going to be that guy. So then I have him at 70, and then he keeps going out, and he's pretty much about to crest the hill, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to grunt at him now because he's just going to look over and go, you're playing games with me,
Yeah, right.
He's a mature buck. So
Better he doesn't know you that you're there.
I'm thinking,
at all.
I've done this before in the past. I'm thinking, I'll wait until he crests that hill, and as soon as he can't see me anymore, I hit a couple grunts, and he starts cresting the hill, and I thought he was completely over, and I hit a couple grunts, and I could still see his antlers, his face. So I don't know if he had peeked over at that point or what, and then he ended up cresting the hill, and I kind of freaked out. I was like, did I not grunt loud enough? Did he even hear me? He's going through these high weeds.
Yeah.
So I hit a couple bleats, and then I'm still real nervous, and I don't got a whole lot of time, and I'm just I just want to get him in. I freaked out, and maybe I was too aggressive. I ended up hitting a couple grunts after the bleats, and then I just waited, looking, listening, and I don't know if he ended up sneaking around behind me, tailing around behind me and trying to find me, because I'm in school. I have my headphones on. I got one headphone on, and I'm in school right now in my tree. And I thought I heard like a grunt like right behind me. And I didn't know if it was feedback from school because like nobody was talking yet. So I just ripped the earplug out. I'm like, screw this. And I'm just listening. I'm trying to look. And at that point, it was too late, you know. There wasn't much time left.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, so Wednesday was a good day for him. I mean, he had an encounter with this big 9-point that we've been after.
Yeah.
I didn't see a damn deer. I mean, where I was at is an area where Joe shot Jimmy, and, you know, it's been a known travel corridor. In the rut, again, I was starting to try to think about things and start to, you know, put into place, like, wind direction and bedding and correlating all these things. And, of course, I come up with a dud first try, right?
Yeah.
Just an absolute stinker. And then our brother Russ had bucks chasing does all around him at like 3 o'clock, 3:15.
Sweet.
He had a buck chasing a doe. He had another buck come in. And I think, I don't know, was the other big buck chasing a doe too? Or
He said there was a shooter chasing a doe, did 3 circles around him, never got a shot,
I think he was at
ran
full
off,
draw.
and when he ran off, it must have spooked 2 other deer out of that area, or whatever happened. A shooter and another, like a decent 8,
What?
came flying out towards him, and he said the 8's the only one that gave him a shot, but at that point you got 2 shooters in the area. Why
yeah,
shoot the smaller
buck.
one? And,
You're
you know,
right,
and his
right.
standards are higher, so he said a few of us would probably, you know, end up passing on him. So I don't know how big he was, but he said he thought that 9 was one of the ones that was running with that small buck.
Which there
There's
could
a possibility. I
There-
don't know what time you got in the woods, but I know that
That's true.
travel corridor goes around from him past you around to me, and that could have happened because that's what Jimmy did when I shot him. He went from you down directly past where Russ was hunting, and he circled the whole way around that.
Which way did he come
Field.
from you the night you saw? Oh, he came from the buck tree area.
He came from that back door.
Because I think I have him on my cell cam, but it's like you can't really see a deer. But he said he kind of came from that direction, and what was it then? 6:24. He saw him at 6:30. 6:24. I had a blank picture that looks like a side of a deer behind a really big oak tree, and it looks like just the side, like you could barely make out a deer. But I don't know if he's actually in the picture or not. But it's just funny that I have a picture at 6:24, then he sees him 6 minutes later from that direction.
Yeah.
But, you know, either one of 2 things could be happening here. Either there's another big 9-point in the area,
Yeah.
or he may have come, you know, past Russ and then shortcut instead of coming to me
Could've went
because
up the hill.
the 2 bucks that I saw Saturday morning, the day I killed my deer, came off that hillside, like directly at me. I was hunting a ladder stand that we have set up on the property on the edge of this field, and like at the back corner of this field, and it's like a high grassy field. It's not planted or anything. And they all came from the same direction, kind of sniffing, like there had been at some point a doe in the area. So I'm thinking he might have shortcut and went up, or there's 2 big 9-points, which is very possible.
That's totally possible.
In our property that we hunt, it's very possible that could happen too. But that day, I didn't see shit. That Wednesday, but you know there was a lot of action that day in that property. And then, you know, Friday was my next day I could hunt. I went down to the other property with the giant. I saw all those little deer, those 11 deer that I was telling you about earlier. And you know we were at a loss. I know I was at a loss at that point. I had no clue what I should do. I know Joe was kind of like, I have no idea what I'm doing either. He was going to work in the morning.
I hunted that stand again. I knew he was in the area. I knew he was cruising through looking for does. I went in Friday
Yeah.
with a decoy thinking that's all I really need. He's already daylighted twice this week past there. And
Just need someone
first week of
close to do.
archery, he daylighted how many times? Three times the same.
I think more.
area.
So I went back through the pictures, and he was daylighting like, man, I had so many pictures of him.
So if that's his
3 or
travel
4
route,
days.
I needed him to catch that decoy and break the distance,
Yep,
really. So
totally.
Yeah.
I ended up, that was a crap day. So, yeah, like he said, we were kind of at a loss, and we're talking back and forth, like, I'll go here, you go there, this spot. I had a camera up last year, didn't give me good feedback. It was bad camera, you know. I could go there, it's super thick, crazy travel going through there, trails pounded. But, you know, are these deer going through there? Are the right deer going through there? You know, like at this point of the season, I was telling him, like, you get so worked up because you only have so many hunts left. Where you got to pick.
Yeah.
Like, you're driving yourself nuts thinking you got to pick the right spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you make a bad move now, I mean, you could potentially, not kill a deer in your archery season. We're bearing down. We're in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Your hunts are limited because the clock rolls back. You got to make everyone count, especially with our trip coming up to Ohio this Sunday. I mean, his season's really short now. It's down to the wire, so... We were just kind of thinking it over, and Friday night, I was falling asleep with my phone in my hand, like trying to check the weather and the sunrise and everything. I ended up falling asleep with just my phone right on my chest. Never set my alarm or anything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wake up Saturday morning, 7:10, still dark. I'm freaking out, flying through the house, getting everything ready. I'm like, screw it. I had plans of going back, initially I had plans of just hunting that ladder stand, and then I was thinking, well, if I don't want to do that, maybe I can just bring my stuff with me. If I don't see the sign I want to see, I'll just keep going past it and go set up farther down towards like where Russ had those deer running. I'll set up down there somewhere. So, of course, now I'm late. I'm like, screw it. I'll just run into the ladder stand, forget my seat cushion, because when's the last time I've used one of those? Forget everything pretty much, and I run in there and I just sit up in the stand, and I think it was like 9:30. A little spike comes down, and man, he's got the zoomies. He's running back and forth, just nose to the ground. It looked like I keep saying it looks like a beagle, basically, when it's on a rabbit and it's trying to catch its scent. It just boom, 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 back and forth, grunting, bap, 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 bap. And I'm laughing. I'm videoing them, sending them out. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Regardless, that's pretty cool. And hey, maybe there was a hot doe that came through here last night, and he's the first one to come by, and there's going to be some other visitors.
Yeah.
So I hang out a little longer. It's about 10:30, and I say, you know what? I'm going to be here all day. I wasn't really prepared for the day at all. I don't have snacks. I don't have anything. Okay? And at some point, I got to use the restroom. So I'm up there, and I'm like, I'm just going to get down. I'm going to go get me some nice Mangino's lunch.
Ooh.
Get some pizza, maybe a pepperoni roll. Just force this issue here.
Yep.
And I'll spend the rest of my evening deeper back towards where Russ was, where I have more confidence that I'm going to see a decent deer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to pack my stuff up. Bow hits the ground. I look up. Here comes a 6-point down the same trail as that spike. Literally the same trail right at me. He's not coming in with his nose down, though. He's just kind of coming in, kind of cautious. Goes to my left, hits a scrape, freshens it up, crushes it, goes through the woods, hits another scrape. I'm literally listening to him at this point with the crunchy leaves. He's hitting scrape, the whole way up this 4-wheeler trail. I'm like, you little bastard. It's like, all right, fine. I'm going to hang out another hour. I'm going to give it another hour. I'm going to hang out. And just in case, because they're getting bigger. Maybe
they're getting bigger.
Maybe there's more bucks that come. They're going to keep getting bigger. They're coming off this hillside for some reason. They're coming down this trail. Maybe another one will come out. So I give it another hour. Don't see shit. And I'm like, all right, screw it. I got to go now so I can get more hours in at this other spot. Go get lunch, come back, start making my way in. I grab my saddle, my platform, everything. And I'm going in. I'm going to go do a little hanging hunt. And Joe's working that day, so he's going to get off work. He's going to get in around 3 o'clock. Again, he was talking about going to this place, that place. And I said, what, screw it. I think we just need to go in. We're going to tag team this area. You'll set up more towards where Russ was. And I have spots marked because I was in this area last year. I hunted it once or twice in rifle season when it was real high pressure, and I saw a ton of doe, like big mature doe. They all came out of this one area. Russ was in there a few days ago. He saw some deer chasing and whatnot. Must be a good area right now. They're at least on that side of the property, because I've been seeing them on camera on the southern side of the property. The big hillside, they're all on the south. Well, this is the northern side of that hillside. It's actually where the hill dumps down into like a little ravine, and it shelves off, and then it dumps down even farther down in this big bowl. And I sent Joe a pin, and this whole time it's funny, through my mindset, I'm going in there, and I wanted to hunt another trail that was about 70 yards away. I'm like, can I hit both spots? Because as I'm coming in, what I did is, and maybe this wasn't the right call at the time, but because the wind wasn't great, but that four-wheeler trail tops that whole ridge around that bowl. And you walk the whole way around, and then there's like what we call the ravine that dumps down into that bowl. And that's where I was in rifle, and I was like, well, that's my access. I'm familiar going in this way. That's the way I'm going to go in. So I sneak down the little ravine, and I'm kind of creeping in, and I'm just, every about 10 yards, I'm kind of stopping, looking around, just playing the topography, playing everything out, trying to figure it all out as I go in so I can make one good, clean setup.
Yeah.
But I know where I need to get to, and I know where it's at. There's a trail that's just like a walking trail through this multifloral, just thicket, gnarly thicket. Yeah. I'm like, man, that could be a good travel corridor. So I get down in there, and basically the way it plays out, you go down this real steep little like ditch, and then it opens up, and there's open woods that kind of goes to the left, and then it pinches down with where it's a thicker swampy bottom with some like
it's completely overgrown at this point.
Yeah,
it's
just like
super,
real overgrown,
super thick.
Yeah,
there's some
swampy,
there's
just
some
beautiful area, but it's like
bushy
unhuntable.
shit.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a doe paradise. Like
I'm sure.
all the does came out of there.
Yeah.
When I was hunting there in rifle last year, they all came
There's
out of
always
that
been
area.
crazy buck sign down there too.
Yeah.
But it's just there's no trees to hunt.
It's really hard to hunt. It's an old strip mine area.
It's overgrown so much. Why don't you drop a pin at this point, Charles?
We'll cut that out. Anyways, so I get down in there, and I'm like, okay, so the overgrown stuff kind of comes out to a point, and then it drops back in. It kind of like peninsulas out, and then it comes back out, and there's two, if you look at them like a pair of lungs, basically, right? There's like two oval-shaped openings in the woods, and then it pinches down in the middle, right there, and there's one little opening that goes through, and then there's like a multifloral island that runs through and kind of separates the two. I'm like, okay, well, this is a great pinch spot right here. I was like, but, Joe's going to be right over there. That's not that far away. I don't want to screw up his hunt. My wind's kind of quartering to him dangerously, like very dangerously. Like, that's one of those winds I don't really want to mess with. If they come from that area, I could be screwing up his hunt. I don't want to screw up his hunt. So I actually walked past the tree I ended up setting up in. And I was going to set up in this disgustingly ugly maple. It was like a split maple with a bunch of little humps all over it the whole way up. And it was a hard lean back. I'm like, no, not doing this.
No.
So I'm standing in that tree for what seemed like forever, probably 10 minutes. I'm sitting there. It's like noon at this point. And I'm looking all over, and I'm like, dude, I just don't like this setup. I want to cover this spot over here to the left. I'll give Joe everything over here on this other side. But this tree is not the tree. So I'm just sitting there, and the sun's just right in my freaking eyes as I'm trying. So I'm using the big maple to kind of block the sun to look for trees. And I see one, I'm like, that oak's okay, but it's in the multifloral, and it's kind of nasty. I'm like, that would work, but at that point, I'm kind of committing to one side.
Right.
I want to cover both, but I also don't want to get too close to where he's at. So I dropped him a pin, and there's like an old lock-on from years and years ago down in there. I said, you want to be between this pin and kind of where Russ was. And I think he already had a spot in mind because he had hunted there in years past as well. So I'm like, you need to be somewhere in this area. It looks so good. And there's like running tracks through the mud right through this like lane, this open lane. So I start looking, I move over a little bit, and I see this tree just on the other side of mine, about 10 to 15 yards probably. I'm range finding it. It was 12 yards. So I'm range finding it, and I'm range finding the edge of this other opening in the woods. And it's like 35 yards. And then 12 yards. I'm like, okay, so I should be able to cover the whole thing pretty comfortably. I'm going to go climb up that tree. So I got up the tree, and the whole time in my head, I'm like, dude, I shouldn't be hunting here. I should have went the 70, 80 yards over and hunted that other trail I initially wanted to. And I'm beating myself up because, again, don't want to blow his hunt.
Yeah.
And then, I'm going to be honest, this was going through my mind. And then at one point, I'm halfway up the tree, and I'm still beating myself, and I'm like, what the hell am I worried about his hunt for? The kid just killed a freaking 160 last year. He shot a buck every year for like the last 20 freaking years. I haven't killed a deer in 2 years. Why am I still worried? But I'm like, but I still feel guilty.
I get that.
I did. I really did. I'm always like trying to guide and help other people. So I was like,
a little scummy going in there after Russ was just in there, but he kind of gave up the area at that point. Because if you have 2 shooters and an 8 come past you, are you going to pack up and go up to camp the next day? Or are you going to stay in town and go after that goddamn deer?
Yeah. You would
find
think.
that damn
You
dog.
would think.
You would think. But he kind of just like forfeited the area at that point, and we were almost trying to like tiptoe around it.
Right. Yeah, right.
We'll go here, we'll go there, you know. But honestly, he didn't spook any of those deer. They were naturally just going through there, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't bother any of them. He didn't, you know, there's little to no damage that he actually caused going through there. And it's such a beautiful transition point between thicket to thicket.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're coming from that thicket over in that dip that they're always running
Right.
where you used to hunt.
Yep.
What do you call it? The valley?
The ravine.
The ravine?
Yeah.
They're constantly running that thicket. It's super nasty in there.
Yeah, the top hill
and
there
then
is
that
just like...
connects to that swampy thicket where, like I said, there's always like crazy rubs, beautiful like big buck sign in there, and that's just that connecting point.
It really
And
is. It's a beautiful little...
why wouldn't they run it again?
Yeah,
pinch
right, right.
They were
transition.
running it the other night, you know.
Well, there's a hot doe in the area too. Either
Plus
she
there's
was
a hot doe,
she was
yeah.
in heat or she was coming into heat. You know, that was Wednesday. It's now Saturday. You know, yeah, that's a few too many days for her to still be in heat. But if she's in heat in that area and she's a part of a doe group, another doe might be in heat in that area that's in the same doe group.
Yep.
You know, and if she's hanging out over there and there's bucks chasing and running, they're going to be in that area, I would think. So we were kind of like, you know, we're not that guy to like just, oh, you saw a buck there, let me go move in and try to kill it or
Pennsylvania
nothing.
pinch.
Yeah, the old PA pinch. Like, we're not trout fishing, right? Seeing a guy catching all the trout in the hole and you try to move in on him. But yeah, he packed it up. He went to camp for Friday, Saturday, and over the weekend and to hunt up there. And I was like, you know, we got to get over there.
Yeah.
Like we have to.
Why
We have to
why
give it a
miss out
run.
on that opportunity though?
Yeah.
You got hot doe in the area. You got bucks cruising through. Why tiptoe around it?
Yeah.
You know, we're all a team.
Right. Especially when he
absolutely.
sends me a pin and it's literally like 5 yards from all the pins that I marked last year when I did my scouting in there. And I was like, you know, had it been an area that I was like totally clueless and I just went in there because he had seen deer, I think that plays different in my mind. You know, I had done the research in this area. I've done the scouting. I had not hunted it yet this year. Yes, but he did and he saw a good sign and I'm like, oh, boom, light bulb went on. Like, this is the area he's in. Because when he first sent me that, I just thought he was hunting the ravine like he usually does.
Right.
You know, and I did kind of move in on him on that spot years back, but
He's family. It's a
He
family
is.
property.
No,
that
it
you
is.
guys are like,
honestly,
Yeah.
it is. And
Yeah.
he's not the type to kind of do. He's probably used to it at this point, anyways. So we get down in there, get in my tree, and I'm basically right in that middle, like I said, between the two lungs where it pinches down. It's only 10 yards wide.
yeah.
And I'm right there. I got the multifloral island of multifloral. It's probably 30 yards wide. It's to my right. I put it up on my weak side so I can shoot everything else pretty much. And I see a tree start shaking over towards, he had called and texted me he was coming in. I'm looking. And I text him, I see you.
I took the wrong route.
He's like fighting his way
I haven't
through.
been in there in years and years, and I used to hunt like the dead center of it, the bull, and
The dead
it's
center of the
grown
bull.
up so much since
No
then.
bueno.
I didn't even think it was still huntable over there.
Yeah.
Until Russ said he was in there, and I was like, "That's a nice area, you know." Like I shot a buck back there when I was younger. It was a little 8. He made a scrape like around where Charles was hunting. Came around to me. I ended up shooting him, but it's a very nice area.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I tried setting up a blind or something in there a couple years ago, or last year, or 2 years ago, or something like that. Me and McCoy went back here, and that swampy area I wanted to set up a blind on. It's unhuntable. It's all the saplings turned into trees over the
Yeah.
time that I've been back there.
You'd have to go in a
And it's
chainsaw and just clean lanes out.
crazy.
It's so
overgrown.
wild.
Yeah.
So I tried taking the old route,
The
and
old
I got
route.
caught in that thickness that used to be little teeny saplings are now, it's just
It's pretty,
either way.
pretty crazy, but
I
it made
fought
like
my way through there.
yeah, it makes a hard edge. Like you're literally
some
looking at this
beautiful
edge,
trails,
and it's
though.
just like a real hard edge.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like you just want to be right up on that edge. There's a beautiful trail coming in and out from that hillside, and I'm thinking back like when he shot that deer back in that bull, and the memory of like going into that spot, and it's like it's totally different. Like I didn't even realize that's where he hunted that night, was in that bull, and I'm like, holy shit! It all came together. I actually shot my biggest Pennsylvania turkey in that bull. I snuck up on, shot him in the fall that time. I shot him from up on top from that 4-wheeler trail. I crawled to the edge and blasted him. So, like, this area's got, some good memories in it, and it's a really good area. So, we're all set up. We're kind of hanging out. It's a pretty quiet afternoon. Not much going on. I don't think I saw a single deer, leading into the afternoon, and sat up there for a couple hours kind of waiting. I saw him come in, and everything got settled down. I kept texting him like, hey, think I should rattle? Think I should grunt? I'm kind of messing with him because I know he doesn't like to do that stuff, but I have it. I brought it in for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think I might have had my rattling antlers, but I know I had my grunt tube, and I was like, I don't know, man. I kind of want to stir things up. He keeps telling me, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm just more of a fan of natural movement,
I understand.
Like, deer cruising through that area. Plus, I don't know about him, but I was in an area where, like, that swampy thicket has, like, a hillside where it could just look right in on me. There could be a deer on that hillside looking at me, and I'd never see him. He could see me just fine.
Oh, totally.
It's like they're looking through, like, the people in the door, and I'm trying to look at the door through the people, and, like, I can't see them, and there's a couple areas like that, but, like, I was telling him the same thing, and I'm like, well, the good thing is it's really loud,
Right.
Yeah.
So
you're
if they're
gonna hear 'em.
inside this bowl, you can most likely hear them.
Right.
But, like, where I was sitting, if I started rattling and there was a deer, like, over in that swamp area and looked up at me, he'd pretty much like, yeah, I see you, man.
Yeah,
all right.
it was-
And then I'm twitching or spitting or doing whatever I'm doing or moving around, and he's watching everything, So
Honestly,
me to do that was probably the wrong move.
Well,
yeah, my thought process was, if I rattle or if I grunt, he's basically my downwind side. So if a buck does circle to try to get downwind, he's going to shoot him.
Yeah, right.
But I'm like, all right, you're right. We'll just play it out. We'll chill. We'll hang out and see, because that bull is just covered. The whole side's like all big, giant, big mature oak trees.
I think I know what you're talking
bunch
about.
of acorns. It's got like aspens and stuff. So you have like a bunch of crunchy leaves, some maples, and it's loud. I mean, it's dry and it's loud out. So it's closing in on 5 o'clock. Haven't seen anything. I just put my phone away. I was kind of, messing around on it a little bit here and there. Just kind of, I don't know why, but I always sit in the stand. I need to focus better, but I always kind of think ahead. I'm starting to think ahead, like, all right, if it doesn't happen today, what can I do this day, that day, that day? Am I going to hunt here? Am I going to hunt there? I'm kind of putting it all together. I put my phone away, put it in my pocket, and I'm just hanging out, enjoying the evening. I got, my backrest on with the saddle and in a great spot. And all of a sudden, I hear crunch, 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 crunch. And it's loud and it's aggressive, and I know, grab your damn bow and get turned around right now. So, as I mentioned in previous podcasts, I switched to the one stick. And with that, I have the Monarch platform, which is like 11 inches wide by, maybe 4 inches in depth in total. You got 2 inches flat on top and then 2 inches of that angled platform. It's not a lot to get around the tree and make some crazy shots go around the tree, 360. So I've been carrying 2 wild edge steps with me. Put one on the right hand side of the tree, put one on the left hand side of the tree. I can put my right foot to the one on the right and turn around and shoot behind me. I can swing around the other way and shoot around the tree, 360 pretty much.
Yeah.
So I hear it, grab my bow off the hook to my left, swing my foot to the right wild edge step, plant my left foot up against the edge of my one stick, right on that little wing it has basically. And I'm looking and I hear crunch, 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 and I see a deer. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then I see rack and I see good frame.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. shooter. It's getting real. Like right now in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, here's a buck coming right at me.
Yeah.
Like freaking barreling at me. And he's coming off that hillside, basically the exact way I just walked in. And I'll let Joe tell what happened before that because he's seen him before. But this is the first I'm seeing him, and he is just barreling right at me.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, oh shit. So I got my bow in my hand. I didn't range or nothing. I already pre-range. I knew where everything was, but I clipped in with my release, and he's coming right at me. And he's closing distance fast. When I first saw him, he was probably 50 to 60 yards. And all I saw was antlers. I saw a rack that was basically at his ears. And I saw G2s.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it. I stopped looking. I saw frame deer. I saw he was legal. You know, obviously I saw 3 up. But,
yeah, right.
you know, I'm only looking at size-wise. He's at or beyond his ears, and he's got G2s, and they're freaking nice.
Yeah.
And I stopped looking. So he starts closing the distance, gets about 35 yards, and he goes behind a group of oak trees. It's like 3 or 4, you know, maybe basketball-sized trees. I'm like, okay, he's coming with enough authority. I'm going to draw now. He's not going to see me, and I'm not going to get caught later. So I draw and get anchored in, and I'm on him. He's closing the distance. Now he's at 30, 25, and he's getting to like 22 yards, and he's coming literally square at me. You know, I got the pin on his front of his chest, and I'm just following him in. He starts to just bend and quarter at me pretty sharp, turn to his left just a little bit, like 22 yards, and he hesitates. And I'm burying the pin on that front shoulder, and I'm about to let it loose, and he picks up his pace. He starts walking again. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Now he's turned. He's coming right at me, like freaking to aim at his vitals. My pin is on his antlers. Like that's how severe he's right at me.
Yeah.
I'm up in the tree pretty good too. Like I climbed. I probably made 5 or 6 moves, so I'm up there.
You're up there a ways, yeah.
You know, I'm over 20 foot probably, and it's a pretty open tree. So he's coming, and he hits like, 18 yards, I want to say, and he stops. And he kind of like jolted, and he's looking in my direction, but not at me. And at that point, like, I almost sent one right into his back. And I'm like, don't do it. Just wait. And thank God it just happened like that. He just kept going. So now he starts turning. He starts showing me that front shoulder. And I'm picking my spot. And he's showing me more and more front shoulder. He's turning, coming in closer. He gets to 15 yards. Stops on his own. Quartering at me. Still pretty good. But he's now exposed his front shoulder. I can see ribs. I can see front shoulder. I'm putting the pin right on the shoulder. I'm going to blow through, and I'm going to ruin this deer's day. Like, that's, in my mind, that's where I'm putting the pin. And I'm burying it on his shoulder, and I'm settling it. He stops. I make sure everything's lined up, settle the pin, let the arrow go. It hits probably an inch or 2 left back of where I'm aiming. Maybe an inch. And I just see that arrow freaking laser beam right through him. Just right through him. Just sucked into his body. I saw the entrance hit just behind the shoulder.
Yeah.
He takes a big hop left. And then I think another bound. And at this point, man, oh my God, the adrenaline dump. Like, I don't know if he trotted. I don't know if he walked. I don't remember. I just remember in my mind, I'm going, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. Holy shit, holy shit. And this is how loud I'm literally being. Like, I'm screaming, but whispering. I'm whisper screaming, okay? And I'm like, fuck yeah, Joe, get him, Joe. Get him, Joe. Joe, fucking kill him, Joe. And I'm literally like, my hands, and I'm, Joe, get him, Joe. Because he went right towards him. Yeah. I saw where he was set up. I know he's right there. Like, he's right there. And now, mind you, the deer stopped behind I don't know if it was a big tree, a bundle of trees. I can't see him. But he stopped. And I'm like, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, he's quartering hard. And, you know, that same story I told about that doe that I lost. It's playing back in my mind like he bounded off and stopped. That's normally not a good thing. Like, he didn't act hit at all. And I'm freaking out. Like, I am freaking the hell out right now, and I'm literally screaming like inside, Joe, shoot this damn deer and put him down, please, for the love of God. And all of a sudden I just see his ass come out from behind the trees, like stumble, and then it was almost like he just laid down like he was gonna bed. That's what it looked like to me. Like he just tucked his back legs, ass went down, front went down, and then he didn't move. And I just lost it. Like, I am doing everything I can not to scream at this point, because I know he's obviously seeing the whole thing go down.
Right.
Deer's there. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And I'm just freaking out, dude. Freaking out. I think I texted him like, fuck yeah, with just all kinds of misspelled letters and shit.
Said yeah, or something like that.
It's like, fuck yes,
And I said, let's go.
execute. Yeah, it was great. And we were all pumped up, and then he's sending Snapchats out, the deer laying
Yeah,
there.
he sent me one and it was like,
Took my
I think
glory.
you had texted me or something like that. I
Yeah.
think you had texted me like, buck down or something like, I don't even remember what it was, but then I saw a snap from Joe and I was like, oh, it's probably Joe like being like, oh, Charles shot one or whatever. It's literally your buck laying there kicking its back leg. I was like, oh,
Head's
dude,
like
that's fucking
flailing
sweet.
around.
Yeah.
But man, from my perspective, I was like, I didn't know he was going to just drop right there. He only went maybe 30, 35 yards from where I shot him, and never even knew he was hit. Just never
Yeah,
knew
it
he
was
was
very,
hit.
very odd. When I originally saw him cresting down the edge of that bowl, I saw antler, like he said, and I was like, do I even text Charles at this point? Because if I do, he goes look at his phone, he's gonna mess this up. And I'm thinking, he's kind of hanging out up there. I'll text him just in case, I don't want him to get caught off guard because there's a squirrel over there in that area.
Yeah.
And as soon as I text him, the thing starts jogging right at him. I'm like, shit, don't answer your phone. Then I'm by-knocking him the whole way, and I'm like, would I shoot him? Would I shoot him? Would I shoot him? Like, I didn't even grab my bow at this point because I had so much time.
Yeah, right,
I'm in a
right.
pretty thick area. He had to curl around this trail to get to me. Like, I got a ton of time if he even gets past Charles to grab my bow. I'm looking at him, I'm like, yeah, I'd shoot him.
Yeah.
And I grabbed my bow. I couldn't see him that good. And his smaller side was towards me. I didn't even know it was the same buck.
No
We've
clue.
been chasing.
I
I
had
had
no
zero clue because he came the same way the other night. But either way, I just couldn't tell. I mean, it was a thick area.
Yeah, right.
And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, it's a pretty good buck, and that's just seeing him jog through thicket, It's not like he was standing there wide open and I'm looking at him like he was in the field. I was
Right.
automatically like, that's him. I'm shooting him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, grab your bow. I grab my bow, and he starts slowing down. And he comes to like a stop, and everything's racing through my head like, shit, like I don't even know if I range found any of these trails yet. And I'm thinking if it gets, I don't know where Charles is. Like,
He had no clue
We
where I
just
was at.
range found the same lock on, and he's like, I'm 40 yards from it. And I'm like, well, I'm 45 yards from it.
Yeah.
So I knew like somewhat that he was pretty close, and
But the lock on wasn't even like between us. It was like
was angled, so
it was
we're
this
probably
way
80
from
foot.
me, right? So it's like
we're
to
probably
my
80 yards away from each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe less than 80 yards.
But
it's
it was
to
more
my
of
left.
like one
It's
of
in front
those,
of him.
we're not letting anything get past this area kind of hunts,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I'd rather do that or set up on one side of a thicket, somebody set up on the other side, and pretty much just close off all exit routes. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go in here and succeed as a team. It wasn't like a me hunt or a him hunt. It was a us hunt, you
Right.
know?
Well, what if it
And-
it wouldn't stop for him and it got past him?
Right.
You know, and it's
Exactly.
on its way to you. I mean, it's like you said, it's kind of that. We're
I
not
killed
letting
him
him
on
get
a
out of
high
here,
the one
sort of.
time. Me and Russ were 300 yards apart. It went past him. He spooked it drawn back, and it came right to me 25 yards. I killed it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. And being that close, you're pretty much locking down that area. As long as you're not screwing each other up, then,
Right.
you're working as a team. And
Which where that buck came from was perfect. I mean, he was straight upwind from us. Basically,
awesome.
it was quartering from like his right hind over,
the least
over to his
expected
left
place, I
shoulder.
thought.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, I mean, and shame on me because I've seen bucks chase doe down through that ravine that I used to hunt down over the hill, right where I was at. more than once. And that's more or less kind of where he came from. He more was like from the bull area, but man, I couldn't believe it. He came in and just like gave me that opportunity at 15 yards and smoked him. He ran 30 yards and toppled over. Beautiful, it was just like unreal.
That's beautiful. That's freaking awesome, Buck. He's laying right there.
He is, yeah.
You brought him in. I got to see him.
There.
Freaking sweet buck, man.
A lot of good character, too. I
mean,
he's not a super old deer. I mean, he's probably only 3.5, maybe. I'd say 3.5 is what I would bet. But, I mean, for PA, that's a really old deer. Don't get me wrong. That's very, very highly pressured area, honestly, that we hunt. There's some other douchebags in the area we can't talk about. But, just a great buck. It was a deer that's, when I go back, I got all kinds of pictures of him all through the summer. He was in there. Like, he's a homebody deer. He's been in there all summer long, all over camera. He was there the whole first week. He was the one buck that I looked at. I was like, oh, my God, like that deer.
He was definitely number one in that area.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm like, look at the freaking rack on this thing. He's just straight antler. Because they're, and, a score's a score, whatever. But when you look at the deer, it's just like, he takes some really good pictures.
Yeah,
like that deer does. He doesn't have a real wide spread. He doesn't have long main beams, whatever. He's got great character. He's got freaking almost a turkey foot coming out of the one brow tine. Yep. He's got that hook on the other brow tine.
Super thick.
He's thick. He's gnarly.
That's the thing about that area. It's like the deer they come out. They're just different. They're different from. I'm not saying anywhere else. I'm just saying from like around here, some of the places we hunt. They're pretty different.
Good genetics
they're just thicker.
There.
They're just better. Yeah,
it's
And that was it, man. I punched my tag. I was like, "It's 4:55."
I almost shot him, and then he went down. Yeah. I thought Charles missed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I heard the thwack, and I'm like, "Shit, he shot!"
Yeah, right.
And the deer just bounded off like nothing happened, like a deer that you missed. And I've hit and killed deer that have done that. I'm sure we all have. Like, it's so surgically quick of a shot that, they don't even feel it. If you don't bust up anything, and that's what he did. He went through the rib and then came out the gut.
Yep.
And he didn't even feel it. That buck had no clue he was even hit.
Yep.
And he starts trotting away, and I'm like, fuck, he missed, I'm thinking, all right, well, I either got to touch this buck with something, get a bleeder on him, or obviously I'm going to try my damnedest to get the best shot on him possible.
Right.
But it's either force off a shot because Charles already hit him. Like, all right, there's some blood squirting out of him. I just got to get a shot on him through this thicket, or I got to kill this deer, And I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened.
Right.
Because he didn't react at all. And he got to a point where he's 35 yards. I put the rangefinder on him. I'm thinking, I'm whacking your ass. Take a couple more steps,
Yeah.
And I put the rangefinder on him. As I'm looking through the rangefinder, I see like this mark, like perfect on him, right behind his shoulder. I'm like, is that a hole? And all of a sudden he starts getting Jimmy leg. And I'm like, he's had enough.
Yep.
That boy's had enough.
And
hit him again.
He ends up going down right in front of me. And I pull out my phone. I still got the shakes because I'm in kill mode. You know?
Right.
I'm trying to film it, and my phone's shaking like crazy, and I'm trying to zoom in on him, and his head's flopping around. Kind of stole his thunder a little bit. I started sending off pictures.
I thought it was pretty cool, though.
I didn't even know what I shot.
Yeah, right.
Like, I had no clue what I shot. Everyone said, "What is it?
I was
How
just
big
as
is he?"
excited as he was.
Like, how many points is yes? I don't know. I don't know.
I just asked, "Is he a good one?" or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. He was good enough for me was my answer. I think for pretty much everybody. It was like, I don't know. It's like, how many points is he? What is he? I don't know. He's a big bruiser. I'm looking at Joe's Snapchat. I'm seeing 5 on one side. He's texting me. He's at least 5 on one side. I'm like,
I knew something was going with that brow. I said, I think it's a 10 with a sticker on the brow.
Yeah.
But his head's in the leaves, and I'm looking at him. But yeah, it was super cool. And then what happened afterwards, we ended up having a small buck come in and kind of like went right next to Charles and kind of like skirted off, like scared.
He was under
and then
my
he's
tree.
hanging out, and then all of a sudden he disappears into that thicket, and then we hear something making a scrape in there, and I see a body making a scrape. I'm like, shit, is that other shooter? Like, how crazy would it be if we
Double
we both
up.
end up doubling up.
It would have been nuts.
And I heard it start working towards me through the thicket, and I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And then I just heard silence. I'm like, I'll give it a couple minutes. If I don't hear it move away or do anything, I'll hit a couple grunts. I can't see anything at all through there. So I don't hear anything. I hit a couple grunts, and here comes out these little dinks. These two little dinks come out. They're hanging out with each other.
He's like a half rack 6 point.
It was like a scene off of Lion King. Like they're checking to see if the king's actually dead.
Yeah.
And they go over and they start sniffing them, and they start hanging out around him like all puffed up.
They were so
like,
on edge.
Yeah.
Like the one was like, shit, man, I don't want to get that close. And the one's like, yeah, man, I'll get that close. I'll touch him right now.
It's like, should I snort wheeze at these guys and watch them jump out of their skin?
Oh my god.
I'm not scared.
That's hilarious.
They did. They circled them forever. I'm like,
I got some good footage of that too. I thought they were going to start goring them.
Yeah, I texted him. I said, this dude comes at my buck. You're going to have to shoot him off. I'm like, you're going to have to shoot him. I'm sorry. Just eat tag. I don't care. We'll talk to the game warden after the fact.
That's funny. I'm grunting the rest of the night. I'm like, all right, I got a decoy sitting here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, though.
There's a buck laying there, So yeah, it was pretty wild, man. That little buck literally, I could have dropped something on him. He was at the base of my tree, and he I don't know if he saw me or smelled my scent on the tree. He just kind of like bounded off real quick and stood there like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
And then he walked off. But so that was the rest of the night. I think Joe almost tried to shoot a doe and make our night even more miserable getting that thing out of there, because we're in there a little ways. I can't remember. I think it's close to a mile the way we have to walk to get out of there.
Yeah.
And again, we're down in the bottom of this big bowl. So we got to get the buck out of there. And he's like, we start dragging him, we're grabbing his antlers. But again, he's kind of short beam. So his points just stack.
Yeah.
There's really not much to grab.
Right.
Like it's hard to get a good grip on this sucker because he's just all points. And we're start dragging him. He's like, screw this, man. We're going to get the totem pole out. We're going to drag. We're going to carry this deer out. Going back to his other story with the doe.
I'm telling you, it's legit. I'm telling you, it's legit.
Dude, I don't care. I'm on cloud 9 at this point. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Let's do it. Let's do it. So we cut the perfect tree. And like the perfect tree. This thing was like straight as an arrow. It was beautiful, strong sapling. Put it through him. And we start hauling him out of there. It's a big boy now.
Yeah.
It's a big deer.
As soon as I get him up on my shoulders, I just feel the weight.
The weight. And he's swaying back and forth on this thing.
I think that's another thing that screwed us, because when I looked it up after we did the first time, it said something about you got to tie the stomach up. Like, that's what I did the first time. You got to tie its back up.
Oh, man.
The first time I did it with the doe, I used my
your safety belt or something?
my strap.
Yeah.
To my linesman strap. I used it to hold up like the back of the deer. And maybe that keeps it from swinging as much.
Dude.
I don't know what it actually does.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we didn't do that with this. We used that for his head to keep its antlers up.
And he's got his climber on his back, his book bag. Me, I'm good. I'm a saddle hunter, bro. So, like, all I got is a book bag,
That stick,
that's it.
The pole went right on my climber. It didn't go on my shoulder. It went on my climber, and I just went, ugh.
So it's just like pulling
And it
him
just
back.
pulled
So it's
me
like,
directly
give me your
back, and
stupid
I'm like,
freaking clunky piece of metal.
He sent me a Snapchat at one point, and it was you, and you had your climber on your back, and you were just like miserable, and he was like just dying.
It was so bad, dude. We were
like 20 yards.
It was
stop,
legit.
20 yards stop.
Yeah, it was legit to get him out of that bottom.
Yeah.
Once we got him out of the bottom onto the trail, we probably should have just dropped him and drug him. But no, we're committed. My shoulders are still sore and bruised today.
Yeah, me
only
too.
imagine
It's
that.
a week later.
Holy smokes.
My shoulders are friggin' tore up, dude. Like, that's a big boy, and we're trying to switch.
boy.
We're dropping them. We're like, oh my God, this is terrible. It took us so long to get him out of the woods. Finally, we get him to the last home stretch, and we're still carrying him at this point. Like, we're all in for no reason at all. It's just about pride at this point. And I'm like, screw this, dude. And I just took all the ropes off, and I threw the damn stick, and we drug him out. And I was like, we should have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
No shit.
On the
so
wet
funny.
grass, we should have been doing that.
Yeah.
Wet grass.
It's just the weight of him
downhill.
alone. It was nothing like the doe.
Yeah.
It was a big body. I don't know if you didn't weigh him, did you?
I did not weigh him.
He was a
but
big body.
I know my dad had shot a big mature doe, and a yearling, and then I put him up beside the two of them. He dwarfed that doe, like dwarfed her, man.
Yeah.
So I know I got a lot of good meat off him, and he was definitely a big bodied deer. I would say on the hoof, I would say after gutting him, he might have been like maybe in the 170, 180s range.
Big deer.
Weight wise.
Right.
You know, on the hoof, he might have been, I don't know, maybe on the hoof, he was, you know, just cresting 200. Because you talk about the gut weight and whatnot, but he might have just been pushing 200 on the hoof.
Big deer, dude.
Yeah, that's
a big deer.
It's a big deer. And again, he might have been 4.5, 3.5, 4.5. I don't know.
It's good deer. I'd have shot him all day, no matter what.
Again, talk about score, you know, he scored 126 and 2/8. He just beat Pope and Young.
There you go. Beautiful.
Super pumped.
Yeah.
My second biggest buck ever. My first ever archery buck that I tagged that was not on the one specific property in PA.
Right,
you know,
right.
Because I killed all my 3 off that other property.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, though.
And this is the first one other than Spiky up there that I've taken off of that property.
Yeah.
So I was pumped, man. Again, on cloud 9, still am. The relief and the stress release, like just so much weight off my shoulders. Like
That's
2 years
awesome.
ago and just dry. It was like, whew, big deep breath of release. And now I can focus on Ohio and just go play ball. Go
I like
have
it,
fun.
man. I like it. That's a good story, too, man.
Yeah.
You were very detailed about that. I like it.
Yeah, it's the first
I'm
time
a fan.
I've really told it. So
That's good.
I'm
I
just
didn't
trying
hear it, and I was 80 yards away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of lived it with me.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
yep, that's kind of what going through all my mind. You know, at one point, I actually was like, you know, we grew up Catholic and whatnot, but, you know, at one point, I really just kind of put my head down in my bridge there, crossed up, and just, like, did a little prayer. I can't even lie to you. Like, just a little prayer, nothing special or nothing, you know, but like 5 minutes later, that deer came in.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. As soon as I shot him, I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
that's so awesome.
you know, like, holy shit. Like, what a moment, you know, for it all to come together like that. It was just like such a surreal moment with him being that close, watching him go down. You know, you experience that moment with somebody, it's even better.
Absolutely.
And when you're by yourself, it's different.
Yeah.
Deer was
I
coming
agree.
in towards a lucky guy.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he cut me off. That's
There
what
you
was
go.
going
There
on.
you go.
He set up. I
He'd
knew
been
what was
saying
going
it.
on. He was like, hey, maybe we should go down there, you know?
Like,
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what was
He knew what he
going
was
on.
doing.
dude, don't go to that other spot. Like,
Just come down here by me. Come on. Same tree.
this is the spot.
tree.
Same tree. You face this way, though.
I've been saying it for years. You can go back and date me on a lot of podcasts. If you want to kill big deer, you just need to hunt near Joe or Russ. I've said it many times.
That's
and
hilarious.
I'm not afraid to admit it again.
There's so many times, though, we've done that where we were that close, and we both even doubled up on does. you know?
Multiple times. We've doubled within 100 yards of one another.
That's
we do it a
beautiful.
lot. It's just like, I don't know. That's why a lot of people, you know, get weird about being close to other people. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
As long as the wind's right and you're doing things the right way.
I'd rather do that. I mean, how many times we do that this year where it's just like we're literally 100 yards apart. We're not letting anything get in between us, you know? And it's not like we're hunting the same exact thing. Like that deer could have scooped around to me. It also could have went down that swamp, which is probably what it was going to do.
Yeah, probably.
You know, so...
The way it was
And it also
quartering-
could have came in behind me and came down through that way and started going towards him or towards the swamp.
Yeah.
You don't know what could have happened.
That's
And that's
true.
why I said it was like a team effort, and I felt like I got that buck that night as well. You know, it was just,
I'm with you.
I was just as happy as he was. You know, I was up there, I was shaking for an hour. I mean, I had to take myself out of kill mode,
Yeah,
but you know,
right.
I was just as happy. You know, I was shaking up there as well. It was
funny.
awesome. Like one of us got our target buck. You know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
We were just talking about it on the last episode with Shane, like doing that rappel down, knowing
Yeah.
you have a buck on the ground.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. I was like, oh my God, this
Did
is
you
that
did you do
moment.
what I told you you had to do?
No, I don't
Oh, really?
even remember.
Oh man, you were supposed to play the Mission Impossible theme song, and I'm like,
You're right, you
rappel
did
down.
say
Yeah.
that. It was
That's
in my
funny, though.
head. It
That's
was
funny,
definitely on in my head as I was
like
going
it.
down.
I like it.
That was the quickest and most fun I've ever rappelled down a tree, to tell you that right now.
That's so fun, dude.
So that's it, man. More to come. I know we're way up there on time.
That's okay.
Huh?
That's okay. We're getting we're
We'll
close
slim.
down.
This is gonna slim down too. There's
Yeah, it's gonna slim down. It's
But-
gonna be good. But a couple things that we want to bring up real quick.
okay.
Guys, the giveaway is coming up. Next episode, we're going to release all of the details. It's going to be freaking crazy. You guys are going to love it. I promise you. Another thing, you guys have been so supportive throughout all of these episodes that we've had throughout the years. If you guys want to support us a little bit more in any way, we did set up a Patreon. There's 3 different levels. You guys can go on, check them out. We have a link tree set up with all of our links. You can check out the Patreon. There's no obligation. You don't have to do this, but if you want to support us a little bit more, it's out there. We appreciate you guys.
The Patreon's a cool thing, man, and it's something that we've kicked around for years now. I never thought, we would do it, but honestly, we're gonna make it to where if you sign up for it and you become a patron, we're really gonna make it some big benefits.
We'll make it
for
worth
you.
your while.
We're gonna start doing giveaways on there. We're gonna, give. You'll see the levels. When you go on there, you'll see the levels. You get some free gear if you sign up for certain levels. And it's just what it is we have a lot of equipment that needs upgraded here to keep this show going. We've been doing this podcast now for over 3.5 years. There's some old, outdated stuff that we just need to upgrade. Every penny that we're going to make in this thing has gone back into it, whether it's gear or, because we still have gear. We have hats and shirts and all kinds of stuff still for sale. But this is another way for us to generate some kind of revenue to go towards the podcast. And it's all going to be right here, whether it's, directly in podcast equipment or for me and you to go create more content.
Exactly. That's it, man.
That's it. Good season so far, boys, but we ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet. There's still a lot of season left.
There's a lot of bone out there waiting for you guys.
I agree.
So go down, go out, knock some deer down. It's getting good. The moon's right. The weather's going to turn this weekend. There's going to be a front coming in.
I know. I'm going out this weekend.
My goodness, you have to. It's going to be the first Sunday of archery, too,
this
weekend.
Yep.
So good luck to everybody out there. Appreciate all the love and support that I've seen over the last couple of days. It's been unreal.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, unreal. So just know I've read and seen every comment and really appreciate everybody that's reached out. It's awesome.
I like it. All right, buddy.
Till next time.
The distraction's real.
Woohoo!
Distraction's real.